Live, more or less, Las Vegas. This is Good Sports. Rick Rosen, and we are off and flying. We're headed real quickly up to Fight Week. The fight.
Fight Week.
I don't think it's going to be a good fight, but I know they're saying there's not going to be a rematch. For that much money, somebody will push for a rematch, whether it ends in a win or a draw for somebody. That's just about the ticket sales. They didn't finally sign the agreement to sell the last 500 tickets only. That was an issue that could have stopped the whole fight. I still think Floyd's camp and Floyd are fishing and looking for a way out without taking this fight into the ring. I still will be surprised if it comes off. Our friend Kenny Bayless is going to be the referee, so we are guaranteed that it will be a very well officiated event. Known a straight guy, it's Kenny Bayless, and a wonderful referee. And came down to three finalists: Robert Byrd, Tony Weeks, and Kenny Bayless. And Kenny Bayless won out. He's done both. He's done Pac-Man fights before. He's the guy that saw Manny Pac-Man stone Ricky Hatton, and I said, what number did you get up to, Kenny, when you turned around to see him laying there? He said, the count was up to 3. I said, what did you get up to before when you called the fight off? He said 4. So he looked at Ricky Hatton laying there. Figured there's no sense get all the way to 10. He's not getting up. And then he was also in the ring when Manny Pacquiao went down from the Juan Manuel Marquez in Fight 4, and Manny caught the haymaker at the end of the round and went down. So, and Kenny Bayless has done a couple of Mayweather fights and knows both guys, and they're not going to get away with anything. They show this guy as much respect as any referee has been shown. So
good.
8 days away, Mark. 8 days away. They almost stopped the damn fight because of the last 5. Do you have 10, 12,000 laying around?
Yeah, sure.
The tickets are face value, I believe, $1,700, Mark, and they're already anticipating that they'll go for over $10,000 on StubHub or one of the ticket exchange. It's man, if you had listen, if you got a couple $3,000 laying around and you score a couple of tickets, you know what I mean? You're either going to see a okay fight to be part of the huge event, but the fight I don't think will live up to the hype. But or you can sell them and afford to take a round the world vacation because somebody's willing to pay. They're going to be going for $10,000 the night of the fight or the day before the fight. Do you realize people are renting out rooms in their house now for fight night for that weekend for like $500 a night? Hotel rooms are averaging $600 a night for the sleazeball inn. Cockroaches will haul your luggage up to your room for you for $1 and a crumb of bread or something. So the fight is overwhelming the sports scene, and again, I don't think it's going to be that compelling of a fight. Hit, and Manny likes to hit anything that moves. Going to be on his bike, and I don't think he's going to be able to throw a huge number of punches because if he does, Manny's doesn't want to engage. This is like Tom Cruise in Top Gun. Engage,
right?
Engage. That's what his corner is going to be saying. And if he gets behind in the fight, it's going to be a tough deal because he's going to leave himself open to the knockout punch from Manny Pacquiao because he's going to have to score. Pacquiao is a tremendous boxer. He's not Floyd Mayweather, but he's better than 99% of the other boxers in the world. Floyd's better than 100% of the world. But as far as fighters go, Manny's got the punch stats. He will annihilate Floyd if they engage long. So both of these guys are approaching 40 years of age. I think Pacquiao's 36 and Floyd's 38, and Kevin Iole wrote not being a rematch. And a rematch would be 16, 18 months at the earliest down the road. It took 5 years to put this one together.
Nah.
AARP is their title sponsor on a rematch. So this is the last hurrah for boxing.
Yes.
This fight has so many stinker. If there's some BS now, the entirety of boxing is going to suffer. Boxing in the Ukraine will suffer. And Australia will suffer. This fight has the future of boxing resting squarely on its shoulder. Yeah, and I think it doesn't look to me to be a compelling fight, Mark. One guy chasing one, tortoise in the hair kind of thing, and we'll see who. I could not bet money on Floyd. He didn't take the fight for a reason. He could have made this fight 5 years ago, and it wasn't money, and it wasn't piss test, and it wasn't blood test, and anything other than he didn't want to get in the damn ring with Manny Pacquiao. And he really got backed into a corner. He'd come up with every conceivable plot, and it worked for 5 years. But I don't think Floyd's got better in that 5 years, and I don't think Manny's got appreciably worse. So, again, the holy grail of boxing is Rocky 49-0 record, and as Larry Holmes approached the record, they let Michael Spinks have the decision in a fight he did not win. And I mean that had such racial overtones, Mark.
Yeah.
And I don't think you're going to see the racial overtones in this fight. And it's funny to say the race was a factor in a fight between two black men, but it was. Michael Spinks was the only guy that had a possible hope of beating Larry Holmes, and he did so. At least he got the decision, and I think his main thrust was don't get knocked out, and I'm gonna get this, and that's what he did. He threw enough punches to win the fight. But in this fight, Floyd's not a big favorite, and Floyd's not a terrible guy. He's the domestic violence and the stupidity and all those kind of things. But I actually feel sorry for Floyd. They, at Basketball USA, Mark, they'll pick out the different people in the stands that are famous for whatever reason, and those
Right.
Dr. J and on the camera, and they showed Floyd just sitting there at a damn basketball game on the front row, spending some of his couple $100 million that he's accumulated, and his picture up, the people booed. And it's unfortunate, I mean, I think they booed just because the guy next to him booed. Floyd's not that kind of guy. He's one of the greatest of all time. And I think he's about to get his ass handed to him, but he's still one of the greatest of all time. So, Roger Mayweather is certainly a colorful character in his corner. That's his Uncle Roger, the Black Mamba, little Black Mamba before Kobe took it. And, he's a guy very knowledgeable, but there's not many people that don't say, okay, here's my top five, whether on there one way or the other. So go ahead.
So where are you going to be on Saturday night?
I'm probably going to be watching on a pay-per-view at one of my buddies' houses. I think we're all going to throw in $10-20 and bring some beer and watch the fight.
Okay.
Again, it's I don't think the undercard's probably going to be pretty good. There's some good fights on there, but I just don't think they're going to have one of those fights. I mean, you remember Ali and Frazier, and how Frazier just stalked Ali, and it was that perfect mix of styles. This does not seem to be that way, Mark. So
nope. All right. Well,
I'm sure as hell not putting $100 on my own. I'll listen to it.
It ain't my money, buddy.
Who do you have in the fight? Back to the top of the list there, buddy. Who do you like? You want the boxer or the puncher? That's what it comes down to. I
want the ring girl.
It was Vegas Strip Radio. We could have strip ring girls and really get the audience all excited. By the way, are you gonna go? Are you gonna watch the fight?
I don't know. I'm going to be at a car show that afternoon, so I don't know if I'm going to be back. But I would love to be on. Well, I would actually like to be on the Strip. I think it's going to be Vegas is going to be just packed with celebrities. It's going to be packed with everyone. People watching is going to be a premium. I want to love it.
All right. Tupac Shakur was killed in a car with Suge Knight, or shot. He died 3 days later.
Okay.
Following the Mike Tyson fight.
Yes.
It brings in an element that is not normally prevalent here in Las Vegas, at least to the Strip. And it's a nightmare for the damn cops. I'm telling you right now, they deserve a hell of a lot more than what we pay them for these kind of situations alone.
Yes. Remember when we had the All-Star game, the NBA All-Star game?
Yeah. Speaking of gang elements. And that was kind of NBA. They said, no, we can't do that. We can't leave. Most notable in America. Fubu was good, but the rest of them, and Nikes, but the rest of them were kind of out of luck.
Yep.
Maybe gun manufacturers would have had a promotional possibility there. But that's where they're at. And
I was a chauffeur back then, and I remember.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember Monday morning when it was all said and done, taking guests from their hotel to the airport. I have never seen Vegas disassociate themselves with an event that fast. I mean, by noon Monday morning, the Thomas and Mack had removed every banner, everything going down,
every vestige,
everything. Same thing with the Strip. Every flyer, everything was gone by noon Monday morning.
And I don't mean this is Vegas. That should have been a penultimate moment. The first non-NBA home city to host an All-Star game.
Yep.
And they did see the folly of their ways. Again, Metro handled it supremely.
Absolutely.
But now Metro not only has to deal with all that unnecessary bullshit, but they've got to deal with this ISIS threat. And when you get 15,000, 18,000 people in one place at one time, it's a target.
Oh.
I don't give a damn what it is, whether it's a prayer meeting or a fight or a cooking show with Martha Stewart and Rachel Ray facing off. Well, whatever it is, you get that many people in one spot, it amplifies how difficult it is to do security for that. I'm sure they'll have bomb-sniffing dogs and those kind of things. Is more the problem, Mark, is the lone wolf. The intelligence community is very, very good at ferreting out the groups because they communicate with each other, and that's how they stop them. When some schmuck with $2,000 that buys a ticket to get in the door, then it's a problem because he looks like everybody else at the fight, and you can hide in plain sight very, very easily here in Las Vegas. So it is a concern, and it's unfortunate. But as they say on the damn buses, see something, say something. Yes. If you're going to the fight, you're an idiot if you don't point it out to somebody that's wearing a badge or has a security. I'm sure security will be thick, and from my time at the Mandalay Bay, they do a tremendous job and put a great deal of effort into making sure that everybody's safe and sound and secure, Mark. And I hope it goes off without a hitch. But nonetheless, it's a target.
Yes, but now you and I have been to some major Vegas events, from New Year's Eve to PBR World Finals to NASCAR to IndyCar. No matter what we say about Metro, all police forces have their bad apples. But when you're in a town like this that is for partying and is that kind of an attraction, the security between the hotels, the event centers, and Metro, just top notch. I mean, you are as safe as you can be.
And our hats off to them, Mark.
Definitely.
Yep. I don't know that there's many places on earth that you would be safer. Maybe Fort Knox, maybe a NORAD headquarters. But as cities go, Las Vegas is as secure as it gets. But nothing is 100%, Mark.
No.
And again, people have to be vigilant. There's no more of that. Just walk in with your head up your ass and find your seat and sit down and watch the fight.
Right.
You need to be aware of your surroundings. You need to be aware of who you're sitting next to. And if they start doing something hinky, you need to get up and say something,
Right.
You're not in an aircraft at 35,000 feet. You can get somebody thrown out the door and all they'll land in is the parking lot here. So, but I think it's good for Las Vegas. They're obviously the race and sports books and the money on money is going to come in. It always comes in late with the people that come in with Manny being from the Philippines. I don't think there's going to be a huge contingent. They bring in a pretty good sized contingent. The two totally opposite camps. I think it could be a pretty good payday for the race and sports books, which if you took that amount of wagering out of the overall pool of all the money worldwide that's wagered, it would not be a drop in the bucket of what the racing sportsbooks get as opposed to what bookies do.
Ooh, yeah.
There's just a hell of a lot more field agents than there are home squads, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
So
yes.
The line's not going to move much. What you see is what you're going to get. It might go down a little bit because I expect more Mayweather money to come in. So if you're a Manny fan, you wait it out. If you have the first month, you're in luck because the fight's on the second, and so is the Kentucky Derby. So fortuitous for the racing sports because there people have a little more disposable income on the second of the month than they do on the 30th. So it's just that simple. All things look to be a tremendous party. Yeah, I think it's going to be a crappy fight. I mean, it's going to take Floyd to make this a compelling fight, whether that's by choosing to engage and going toe-to-toe and standing there and give the fans what they want. Fragile hands. And I don't think he can hit Manny like Juan Manuel Marquez did and stone him. It's going to take an accumulation of things for Floyd to have a chance to win by a KO, and it's by knock you out. It's going to be a KO by cut you, or I hit you so often you just don't want to take it anymore. But I don't think you're going to see our friend Kenny Bayless standing over Manny Pacquiao counting to 10.
Yes.
Might happen in the corner. Floyd's going to win by decision if Floyd's going to win the fight. I'm about 99% sure of that. Manny Pacquiao damn near can't win a decision. It would have to be a really crappy fight for him to win a decision, for him to knock Floyd out. But anyway, for Manny to knock Floyd out, he's either going to take a supreme effort on Manny's part to just march right through Floyd, or a mistake on Floyd's part. And I've seen probably, I think, 6 Floyd Mayweather fights. He will punches in exchange, but he tends to get the worst of the deal in those Zab Judah was hitting Floyd. I saw Jose Luis Castillo beat Floyd in a fight that he did not get the decision in, but he beat Floyd up. He went straight through. He just marched straight through and said, "You're not going to hurt me," and he went right at Floyd. And I think Manny Pacquiao has that in his gearbox, that he's going to go straight. Freddie Roach is a tremendous tactician, and he and Manny. Listen, Floyd and Leonard Ellerbe and Roger Mayweather gets together and does it right is hard to beat. But Manny Pacquiao and Freddie Roach and the top-ranked team are right there. And so they will both come in very well prepared. They will both come in knowing what they can and can't do. And I think they're both very good at doing what they're told to do from the corner. And I don't know if anyone has an advantage, but if I had to say that somebody had an advantage in the corner, I would think Freddie Roach is that wild card. And it's like apples and oranges a little bit, but man, they're both pretty darn tasty. And I think it's going to be a well-performed fight. But it does not look to me to be one of those compelling, these guys are going to get it there and just beat the crap out of each other, because I don't think we're going to see that. Right. If it does go to a decision, it's going to be a Floyd Mayweather decision. Time earlier than that, there's a huge chance that it will be a Manny Pacquiao win. And I will say this about our friend Kenny Bayless. If at any point in that fight, and I don't care if there's 1 second left in the 12th round, if at any point in that fight one of the fighters looks like he cannot defend himself and he is injured or hurt, Kenny Bayless is going to stop that fight. And you know that going in. And they certainly had their opportunity to pick him or to voice their opinion. And the judges, Dave Moretti from Las Vegas, another friend of Good Sports, got his credentials well in order to judge the fight. Judging controversies, these 3 guys. The one guy was in the fight, the very first. Manny Pacquiao knocked down Juan Manuel Marquez 3 times in the first round, which scoring-wise is a 10-6 round. They have what they call the 3 knockdown rule, which they can waive, which they did in that fight, where any 3 knockdowns suffered by one fighter in a round ends the fight as a knockout. Usually they waived that in that fight. Marquez did go down. But this one judge, I believe his name is Coleman, scored the round 10-7 instead of 10-6. And he knew he screwed up, and he took responsibility for it, but it ended up in the fight being a draw rather than a split decision for Manny Pacquiao. And so that being said, this guy gets a chance to redeem himself. I guarantee you his scoring is going to be perfect. Yes. And so I don't think you're going to have any scoring controversies or anything like that. Kenny's not going to screw up. Floyd's not going to screw up. He's take his shot in there, but he got in with Miguel Cotto. I thought he was taking a big chance. Cotto gave him a fight. Cotto hit him sometimes, and Floyd took a little longer to recover from that fight than normally. He fought Maidana twice. Maidana, the first fight, gave him a run for his money, and so he got the rematch. On the rematch, Floyd had time to figure out what he did and didn't let him do it again. This fight. It's different. This is a fight that I think Floyd has avoided for good reason. Floyd avoided the fight, and now 5 years later, here we are. May 2nd, Kentucky Derby during the day. Fight that night. I don't know if there's been a bigger overall sports day in Las Vegas. Certainly not in my memory, Mark, and I think it's going to be a tremendous weekend. So for all of us here at Good Sports, please be careful out there, folks. It's Cinco de Mayo weekend. It's fight weekend. It's Kentucky Derby weekend. Again, for all of us here at Good Sports, Mark Anthony, I'm Rick Rosen. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week. Take care.
Bye.